This time the quick speed shop, I gotta struggle, I gotta put brakes on my Dodge Diplomat. It turns into a nightmare. Lines, everything else. It's rusty, it was sitting for 20 years, so. Calipers, pads, rotors, hoses, lines, bleeding, more bleeding, then some more bleeding. Will I get the brakes to work? I don't know, it's a lot of work, so if you want to see if it does work, or stop, here we go, let's start doing it right now. Alright, I got the car up in the air here, and I've been looking around and looking underneath it and see what's got to happen. It's going to need all the brake lines and the fuel lines, and I've been spraying stuff. The proportioning valve's over here on the inner fender well. Fortunately, the brake lines are kind of snaked around kind of weird, and then the fuel lines are snaked around kind of weird, and the fuel lines run down this side of the car. The brake line, rear one, runs out that side. I'm not sure how the front other line gets over here, but it's super packed under the hood. Here is the rear brake line, which runs all the way down the back of the car, all the way to the back, and it's pretty nasty. And I want to swap the rear end in the car, so I don't want to do a whole bunch of monkeying around with the rear brakes right this second. But it probably needs all the brake lines replaced all the way around, and all the fuel lines. Fuel lines are on this side. You see there's 3 of them, and they're all nasty. Those I can get to mostly. Up by the engine they get tight. These are torsion bar cars, just like all the Mopars have been from the 60s. It's got crisscross torsion bars here, so one is mounted here and goes across there. Then this is the one to the other side. Then it's got an inboard sway bar, and they all mount to this K-member that's got 4 bolts, I think, holding it to the underside of the car, and including the upper control arm is part of the K-member. On like the B bodies and stuff, the upper control arm was on the frame rail, but this looks like you can drop the whole unit right out of the car. All in one shot, the whole front suspension, steering, brakes, the whole 9 yards, and drop the whole thing right out of the car, I think. And I want to detail the engine bay. It might be easier to run things. I'm thinking about building some kind of jig where I can put the car on a dolly and jack the front of it up, unbolt the K-member, drop the motor and transmission, because the oil pan is caved in the front. It's a front sump oil pan. It's caved in the front somewhat, or it's a mid sump oil pan, I guess, but it's caved in the front. I want to try to do something with the exhaust, try to get the things. It's so convoluted under here. You got to tear half the motor apart to get to, like, I want to paint the underside of the hood, and we might have to change the brake master cylinder and stuff. I don't know. So I'm thinking about building a thing. I got a real heavy duty dolly. I could set the body of the car on the frame rails here under the center of the car, set on the dolly on the ground so we could roll the car around, unbolt the K-member, drop the engine transmission out from the bottom of the car, pick the car up in the front, probably with a tractor or something, get it off the K-member, set it on the dolly and roll the car out of the way, and then work on this engine and stuff, and the engine bay separately. Like the fuel lines are way down here on the body and stuff, and super tight to get to, and I'm not even sure how the passenger side brake line gets over here. It might run across the back of the firewall, I don't know. But there's a whole lot of monkeying around that's got to happen, and I want to paint all this, at least clean it up and throw some paint and stuff on it, try to make it better. And I'm just going to try to get front brakes working so I can drive the car around in the yard and get the stop and go and stop. It runs-ish, but I don't want to run it and drive it with the caved-in oil pan, so the engine's got to come out anyways to fix the caved-in oil pan. And so we might as well just drop the whole thing. That way I can paint the K-member and paint the wheel wells and stuff. And that's probably the time to run all the brake lines if I can get it to like just yard stop, even if it's got a leak. The master cylinder is empty on both bores, so I don't know if they both leak. I know it's got a bad hose on the front, and it, who knows what's going on in the back. I'm trying to guesstimate how much I should work on this right now versus I don't want to stand this in line and turn into a 6-month project to this car and then wreck my whole time frame. So I think what we're going to do is just put the brakes on it, and I have a fuel tank here. I can run all the fuel lines, I think, pretty easy. Put new fuel lines on. I got a new tank to put in it and sending unit. Get it so it runs and drives. All right, it's the next day. I did some figuring, and what I think I'm going to do for now with this thing, like I said, is just get it functional so I can drive it around. So the first step in that is going to be brakes, and I've got calipers and pads and rotors and hoses, and I'm going to try to get the brake lines apart there. It's going to be wishful thinking, probably, but I don't want to put, it's super, like I showed you, it's super hard to get to all the lines with the engine in the car. Over here on this side, the brake line is up in here and it goes across the back of the firewall. I'm hoping to be able to get that apart. Like I said, the rear brake line, I'll probably just plug it at the rubber hose. I don't have a hose, and like I said, I want to change the rear end of the car. So if I just get the front brakes working, I put some fluid in the master cylinder. It was bone dry, so I'm probably going to have to crack these lines if they'll come apart and try to bleed the master cylinder, re-bleed the master cylinder on the car. And there you see the proportioning valve, but it's going to be really tough to kind of get to the lines. So I'm going to get out the little Bernzomatic torch. We're going to heat this fitting up. I've already sprayed it. Heat it up and see if we can break it loose. Alright, let's put a little heat on the situation. Heat them up. Smoking. It's from Ghostbusters. Been juicing it overnight, so let's put a little heat on her. See what happens. What do we got? Will it break free? Oh, not looking good, bro. Not looking good. Oh. Wait a minute. That is wanting to round off. Ah. Ah. That ain't coming out. And it's completely destroyed. Now, wait a minute. Okay. We've made progress. Is it just twisting the line? I can't see because this is on there. It's just twisting the line. Yep. There we go. Now we got a leak. Great. Twist it right off. It's fine. Twist it right off. Yep. There we go. Oh, we had brake fluid there. So we successfully twisted that right off. Perfect. That's fine. Don't worry about that. Alright, I restored everything with some rattle cans. I cleaned up the dust shield with a wire wheel, then sprayed it with some rust encapsulator from Eastwood. And I just sprayed the knuckle and stuff with some Vice Grip Garage Rebuild Black. And I've painted the rotor as well, and I repacked the bearings real fast and put a new wheel seal in the back of the rotor. Why is it stuck to this? It's stuck to the paint. Oh, shoot. Paint wasn't dry and the rag stuck to it. Anyways, so here on the brand new rotor, you can see the new seal. And I repacked the bearing, so we should be able to slide this guy right on here. Oh, yeah, look at that. Oops. Right there, and then I ran out of wheel bearing grease, so I had to sparingly do it, but I repacked the front bearing as well. And now we can reassemble our action here. And I also painted the caliper, which is drying at this time, but we'll have brand new rotors here, brand new calipers, hoses, and then I'm just going to be hijinks by the lines. So that looks good. Like I said, I painted the rotor black. That's just with the same the rust encapsulator because it stuck just a little bit faster and dried a little bit faster than Derek stuff. And Derek stuff, sometimes it fish eyes on things like these brake rotors that have oil on them. I cleaned them off best I could with brake cleaner, but I've had fisheye issues, so I use the other stuff. So I'm going to seat these bearings here, then back it off just a little bit and see how it turns. Well, that seems to turn pretty nice. Now we got our little cover on. Where's the cotter key go through? I forget where that was. I think it goes straight up and down. I got to get a new cotter key. Is it straight up and down? Yes, it is. There we go. So we got to line this little guy up. Whatever works straight up and down right about there. But nice new 11-inch rotors. And the caliper, I got new pads for it too, obviously. We'll just grease these guys up, or anti-seize these up, I guess. I like to use grease on them, but I'll see if I can scrape enough off the lid. I'll grease that up, then I'll hang the caliper. And we can mount the hose and boondoggle it into here. I got a new clip we can throw on there. A little bit of fluid film or something to keep that from sticking and rusting. But I'm going to have to put probably both front brake lines on this car at least. Alright, let's put the pads and calipers on. Or the one caliper. Let's put the pads and caliper on. You can see I greased up where the deal goes. And I'm going to throw the pads onto the, let's see, this guy. They're bonded pads. A lot of them are bonded now. I'm a fan of riveted pads because I'm old school, and riveted pads never fail, unlike bonded pads, which can fail at any time. So this guy goes on here, this guy goes on here. It's kind of tight to get her on there. Piston this out just a little bit. I had this problem on my black Dodge. I had a heck of a time getting the caliper on there. See if I can drive the piston back any further. Nope, not really. Not really. Why does this fit so janky? Right there it should be. It's tight, like, there we go. That was the piston out just a little bit. Man, that guy just goes like that. Installed. And then we got some new bracketry here and a couple of new bolts. I believe these guys go, they gotta go down and push on the caliper like that. I believe they give you these rubber bands. I don't know where they go. I've played this game a bunch of times. No idea where the rubber bands go. So I do what I do. I just ignore them because I got no idea where on earth they would go. And that's fine by me. Fine by me, player. Now, I'm going to tighten these down, but I'm going to go check the other side to make sure I did it right. Even though I've literally done this on my black truck and now this one. But this is how it goes. I know it is. Here comes our brake line. You can see the end here that goes in the piece. I just got to make sure I got the right one. Let me get a look at this. It might be, oh, it's off center. I got the wrong hose. Got the wrong-handed hose. See, that hole is off center. and it needs to go. It won't fit. That's the wrong size hose. Right, wrong side hose. Well, this guy should. I was trying to read the part number, but it didn't say right or left or anything on the part number, and the part numbers were all kinds of numbers and didn't tell me anything without looking it back up on Rock Auto, which I didn't do. I thought I could figure it out. Apparently not. But we figured it out by using our eyeballs. There we go. That guy cranks in there, and then this guy will come over here. Boom, and land where it's got to land right there. That's good. There we go. I ordered a whole bunch of brake clips off Rock Auto or Amazon or something just so I'd have a bunch, because you go through them non-stop when you're fixing all this stuff and they're always rusty. You might as well just change them. They're super cheap. I think I bought them on Rock Auto. A whole pile of them for cheap. Got to land. This should be indexed so it locks in there. And take our new clip. Where's my hammer? Boom. Got that guy locked in, just like that. Alright, I gotta stop for tonight. I gotta get some supplies. I need some cotter keys. I need some grease. And, but we got this side all dialed in. Kind of painted it up a little bit. Doesn't look too bad. It'll keep the rust off things. New hose, new caliper, new pads, new rotors. Greased the bearings, new wheel seal. And we'll throw a little paint on there. And that's all I can do for tonight. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to do the same thing, bam, on the other side. And then I am going to have to make a new Nicorp brake lines, the nickel alloy ones, the copper alloy ones. I'm going to have to run a short one. The proportioning valve is right here. So the driver's side line comes up in the bottom. It's real short. The other one must loop around and pop out over there somehow. I'm sure I'm going to have to make... I'm going to have to make the front lines. I'm sure that one's going to twist off too. So I'll do them. Well, it's next night here, and check it out. I've done the passenger side, same thing, just put the brakes on like the driver's side. But good news, the brake line on this side, I was able to unthread it from the old brake hose and work the fitting by holding on the line with vice grips and backed it out and ran it in and hooked it back up. So hopefully this side, the line is okay, and I can just replace a short line on the other side of the proportioning valve, and then we'll at least have brake lines. And I will replace this when I actually get into taking the car apart, like I said, later on at some future date. But for now, if I can just get the front brakes to work, that'd be awesome. And you can see I've painted everything up with the paint, and it's all good. It's all greased up. I got some new grease, so I was able to do that. But I forgot cotter keys. Dang it. I forgot cotter keys. So now I can either reuse the original ones, which I might go ahead and just do it. You're not supposed to, but I might just do it. Or I got to go get some tomorrow, one of the two. But I was just in here looking, and it doesn't look too bad. It is what it is. I got some oil too, so I can change the oil in the engine. The oil filter's back in here, hanging off the back at a weird angle down by the exhaust here. If you can see it up in there. It's weird, a weird spot. Do you see it? Where is it? It's in there somewhere. Blue filter. Anyways, change the oil on the sucker. But we'll have new front brakes here in a second. I've been juicing the fittings on the master cylinder. I'm going to have to crack them loose. I'm going to try to bench bleed the master in the car. We'll loop some hoses in there and try to bench bleed that thing. It should come back around. I found one tiny little bit of rust here in the inner fender, which kind of is a bummer, but not a real big deal to fix that. Just a flat piece. What's this? Oh, it's my cowl piece. And other than that, we're good. Alright, it's the next day here. I'm just continuing on with the brakes. I actually went and got the, I replaced this little driver's side line that we broke, a couple days ago with a new piece of Nicorp, and got that replaced. And now I'm going to work on the rear lines. You see the proportioning valve here, and on the fitting in the back. That's the line going to the back of the car. And it's pretty convoluted here. Let's lay under it. I'll show you. It comes down off the back of the proportioning valve up here behind the lines, and this is the line here. It snakes around the frame rail here, and I don't like how it hangs underneath the frame rail where it could get damaged. Then it comes around, and then it runs all the way down the rocker panel, all the way back until it gets up on the rear end housing. So I don't really care for this because, you know, every time you ever stuck a jacker or something under here and you didn't realize it, I mean, it's even got a little indentation, I guess, so it holds it up flush with the rail, but I think I'm going to snake it around. There's a hole here. I think I'm going to snake through and bring the line here and run it down the rocker panel the whole way. Just like on the other side, that's what they did the fuel lines. They snake through and they just run around under the frame rail at the pinch point. They don't go under the frame rail itself, so they're kind of more protective. We got to replace all them in the next video where I do the fuel tank. But I think I want to snake it down around there and bring it around here, and I'm going to put a union in it, either here or here, because this line is one piece all the way to the back, and it's going to be really hard to make it and fish it around out of one piece of line. So I'm just going to make a union and then make a new rear line from here. So I've already busted the fitting loose from the proportioning valve. Up in there, you see it. I was able to get on it, and luckily it busted loose, but it's one of those big oddball fittings. And I have a new kit where I bought on Amazon where I've got all the correct fittings to put stuff on here. It's 3/16 line, but I've got the fitting to put it on. So I'll probably just cut the line at some point here. This clamp broke. All the clamps are rusted out. I'm going to cut the line, and we're going to snake it out of the car. Let's cut it right here. Ugh. And then hopefully, I don't know if there's another clamp. It should just, it's got a clamp somewhere that I can't see. Okay, I made a new line. I bought a kit from Amazon that came all kinds of different fittings. So this is a 3/16 inverted flare line fitting with 9/16-18 threads, and I checked it in the back of the proportioning valve, and it works good. And I'll probably try to drill out the line and save that fitting too there on the back off the original line. But I've made this just so long, and I've threaded it, or I'm sorry, I flared it and put the union on this end. So now we're going to snake it through the car from the bottom up and try to get it seated. I'm going to try to snake it up, and we're just kind of form it in place. I put just a touch of anti-seize on the threads so it'll have something when it goes into the proportioning valve, which is steel. And we kind of put the first couple of bends off the original line on it, but then after that we're going to be on our own. And right now it's stuck in the shifter mechanism. There we go. And it kind of goes up here somehow, and I can't see nothing. Can't see nothing. I think that's it. Is it going? I think it's going. If only we had a wrench with us. So I think I got that guy seated pretty good. Actually, can I get it up from down here? We'll just double check it. I think it's pretty tight. This copper, yeah, it's tight. This copper alloy line is really pliable, and the flares mush together really nice. All right, so now the line is run through there. I'm gonna snake it around here. We're gonna, how's it going through there? We're gonna add a clamp to this toe board piece here, but I want to kind of form it around to fit, and I'm gonna add like a lump in it so I can get it to get the flare to be away from the body a little bit so I can get the tools on it. Something like that. That's a good spot. All right, I cut the brake line off, the straight section off here, and now we're snaking around. I just take the wheel off, and every single steel clamp is broke. It's got these like sheet metal clamps. These are okay, but every one of the bolt-on clamps is busted. And I was looking here, see these spots where there's something bolted on and the undercoating is not on there? I thought something got taken off the car. I almost wonder if that was factory. They had something bolted on and then undercoated it, and then like the bracket to hold it at the factory maybe, but I don't know. It's got rust behind it, like it had something bolted to it, but I don't know what would have been removed from the car. It's just odd, but whatever. I'm not, if you know what it is, if you're an expert, let me know. So this goes up to the rubber hose, and I've just got to get it out of this steel bracket without getting cut. There we go. Alright, so that goes up to the rubber line. Cop car, this got 11 by 2 1/4 or something like that brakes on it. The stock size of this car would have been a 10 by 2.5 maybe. So this has got 11 by 11 inch drums. And I believe it's probably the original drum, so I just took it off and looked at it. It's really thin and it's missing a bunch of pieces, so if I can reuse these 11 inch brakes on the 8 3/4 rear end, I'm definitely going to have to rebuild them and get new drums, which I think you can get from Rock Auto. But another thing to notice here, this spring bushing is oval, and this has got like a rubber bushing that allows some movement, and there's also a rubber isolator in how the rear end mounts, so they're worried about like the ability for the car to ride nice, which isn't really a high performance thing because you're going to get a lot of like squishing around of your drivetrain to give it that floaty feel. But if you're putting any kind of horsepower in something, you wouldn't want something like this. And I almost wonder, these bolt on just like a B-body spring from back in the day in Mopar. I wonder, I got to look it up on the internet, I wonder if you could swap for B-body springs that had a regular front eyelet with a regular bushing and stuff. I wonder if you could swap out the M-body springs for B-body springs. I'm not sure. I almost bet that you could, but I don't know. You'd have to have the right pin dimension here from here to the front. The back would be kind of easy to retrofit. So up under here, the line just attaches to the original rubber line here. We can just go ahead and cut this guy off because we're going to replace the rubber line as well. Boom. Removed. And can I grab a hold of this? Get this piece off here. The clip. The clip is nasty as well. Got him. Boom. And you'll notice that bolts on. There's a hex in there, and this rubber line is all junk. I'm probably going to have to end up putting new lines on the rear end as well, like I said, because we're probably not going to be able to get them out of here. But we'll throw in the new hose, and then we'll run the line back up front and tie it in with the union. And just got to snake it around here, kind of how it was. Get back up to the front. But man, aside from just being... these cars are not painted, they're just primed underneath. Like brown primer on the outside, and they might have put some kind of dippable primer on probably dip the body or something like that at Chrysler. But this is just like California type surface rust. This is no heavy rusting here. I'm going to spray the whole underside of this car with Eastwood's rust converter when I do it, or brush it on or something. Try to let it eat into this rust, the surface rust a little bit. And then I'm going to fluid film black the entire side of this car. It'll stay, like this car literally sat in the dirt in that barn where I got it from, and there's a little bit of dirt in the frame rails. I'll try to blow them out, and I'll spray inside the frame through all these excess holes, but just I'll black out the whole bottom of the car with the fluid film black. It'll bite right into this, and especially if I put rust encapsulator on it. As long as I don't drive this car in the winter, as long as it doesn't get where it's just going to get rotted away to death from salt, it should, even with the surface rust, it should last. I don't think this car warrants a whole restoration. I think it's just to save it. I mean, it lived this long like this. It was literally sat for 25 years in a dirt floor barn, and you're looking at how nice it is. You go, this would be the underside of a car from out west would look like this. Just a little bit of surface rust. So it is what it is. After you change all these lines and fittings and stuff and get the thing going, I'll put new emergency brake cables on it when I swap the rear end. And do the mechanicals, rust proof this with a fluid film. It should last forever. Speaking of fluid film, we'll spray a little on it right now, on the bracket, and then we'll go ahead and I'll take our new line Which, how is this going to mount up to the rear end? That mounts up like this, like that. So I guess about like this. This got a specific hex. Is it 5-sided? It's got a rounded. It's got a rounded part. Yes, it does. Where's the rounded part? The rounded part goes up here. It only goes in one way. There we go. And then we can take our clip, attach our spring clip. Hoop. If I had something to tap it with. Where my pliers go. There we go. Boom, got him. So then this guy will just go over here, and just like that, bolt to the rear end. We can run our new 3/16 line around here, snake it right back down where it was, run it back up to the front of the car, take our line, which I've already flared, put the fitting on. We'll attach it to the rubber hose. We're gonna have to take it back out here in a minute, but to cut the other end and flare it, I'm just gonna make a kind of bend around where it was, around the frame. It kind of wants to float, and then right there it had a clamp like that. That looks pretty good. And we'll take our original hardware, stick our original hardware right back in where it goes. Get in there. Easy. Oops, oops, oops. Oh, that wrinkled the crap out of that clamp. How did that happen? Well, oh, I know why, because the clamp's a little wonky. Well, anyways, so then we'll bring this guy around here, and we'll kind of bend it to go into this steel retaining clamp, which is probably also going to be too big. And then what did it do? It came out around the leaf spring, kind of. So I kind of need to almost bend a 90 here. And then it came around here. I'm going to add some more clamps. I'm just approximating it this time. Then we're going to come down here. We're going to run right down the frame, or the rocker panel, I mean. There is no frame. Run right down the rocker panel. That'll work out good. Okay, that doesn't look bad. We'll just run it down here. We got our union way up there. I'll tweak it as we go. Well, I'll add another P-clamp up about here. And then we got the union guy there. So I'll just mark it and flare it. Put another 3/16 union, or 3/16 fitting on down there. I hope we got enough brake line to run the lines in the rear end at this point. Gonna burn up 25 feet of line here in about 2 seconds. But this will give us a nice clean spot for the line to run down here. The wheel cylinders look pretty nasty in the housing, so those are probably going to leak. But I'm only worried about just driving this thing around the yards. We could also cap the line and then just have it push. I don't know if I got any brake plugs. I probably don't. We'll get it back there and we'll see how they do. They could be froze right off the wheel cylinder, so they might just not do anything on their own. All right, I got the rear line off here, and as you can see, it had fluid in it. It's leaking all over the floor, but she was pretty rusty, broke right there at the fitting, and I guess I can put a rag under this instead of just brake fluid everywhere. But this original hose is brass here, the new one's steel, but it's different. See how the line's coming off the side on this side? Well, over there, it's coming off and pointing to the driver's side, so our hose has a weird like kick around in it now, but it doesn't really matter because I can relocate it. Instead of making a new rear brake line for a rear end we're not going to use, I just went and I looped the right line with a short piece of line here. Then I'm going to bleed some fluid out of it so we won't have rear brakes. Like I said, I just need to get this to drive around the yard and driveway and stuff. So I left the one fitting cracked loose so I can bleed the air out of it. So I'll have new lines back to the rear end ready to accept the donor rear end, but there's no sense making brake lines right now. Besides, I'm sure the wheel cylinders are trashed and stuff, so it would just leak. So I can demo out this. The next thing we're going to do in this brake fiasco is let's try to crack the lines loose on the master cylinder here. And these are also 3/16 lines, but they're just big, funky fittings, and they should be this size. What size is that? 9/16. I think I'm going to put a little heat onto it. I've been spraying it with juice for the last couple of days. So where'd my heat go? Oh no. Here it is. So I think they should bust free. Hopefully. Bring the heat. There we go. We'll just give her a little heat right here. This is like the never-ending propane cylinder. I've been using this for a long time. I should get one of those matte gas deals because they're a lot hotter when you need to put the heat to stuff, but this little guy's been going forever. Let's try this one. Try it. Get on there. Okay. Also twisting the line. Let's shut this guy off. If I get my pliers maybe and hold on to it. Hold on to it on the straight run. Give her a shot. Oh no. They are wanting to twist. Come on, man. Yeah, they're a little, shoot. They're a little thin, dog. Alright, which one? This guy is the easier one to get out. It's got the stupid curly cues. What I'm going to want to do is snip it with my snips so they don't immediately come pouring out. Actually, we'll get our plastic kit for bleeding, bench bleeding. Cut it off back here so I got a chance of getting the line out of the fitting. Okay, that is that one. Now I got to spray juice down here on the proportioning valve. Where's the other one? So this line, the back line goes to the front, and the front line goes to the back. Oh, God. Got him. You got to be kidding me. We tried, and everything is a disaster. I don't know how to make these curly cues. Maybe wrap it around a piece of pipe, I guess. All right, I made some new lines. I was able to reuse the one fitting in the front. I had to go into my box and get a fitting for here because I couldn't get the line out of it. Down on the proportioning valve, I got two new line fittings down there, and I bent the lines around like a piece of pipe and made these little curls in them. They're not real pretty. And I screwed up and I put the wrong fitting on the first line, so I cut it off. So this rear one's a touch short because I had to redo it. I didn't want to make a new line, so I just shortened it up an inch and redid it. So it's a little short, and the other one is what it is, but they got curly cues in them, and it's kind of whatever. So just got to go ahead and back this bleeder line out of it. I think it bench bled pretty good. acted like it. This is going to puke fluid everywhere unless I dump it back into the thing. And blow it back into the thing. Now my mouth tastes like brake fluid. Thank you. Then we got to back this guy out of here before we lose all our fluid. Luckily, this isn't a freshly painted engine bay. We'd be in a world of hurt. Oh, boy. We're getting there, though. What a freaking mess. So we should have... It acted like it bench bled all right, the master cylinder, so we should have brakes. I mean, everything is new. As long as we don't have a leak in the one line I didn't replace going across the front of the car, which I'll replace, like I said, later when I take the engine out. But in the meantime, hopefully this will give us some action. Hopefully the proportioning valve is not stuck weird and works. That guy's good. I think this guy is good now. That's all good. There we go. My master cylinder's full, so I'm going to put the caps back on so it doesn't puke everywhere. I think now we can go ahead. I'm going to try wipe up brake fluid so I can tell if it's leaking. I don't have any more brake cleaner though. But that's, man, that looks close enough for government work. 2 new lines on there. I actually feel good about it, changing them. That way I wouldn't have to worry. And it wasn't as big as a deal as I thought it was going to be. And I got new fittings all installed with anti-seize, so they'll come back apart later when they need to. Alright, we'll stick a rubber plug in there, kind of, for action. Hook up our vacuum line to here. And we'll take our vacuum Harbor Freight. We're going to draw a vacuum on this system. Oh, actually, look at it. It's holding. Right there, you see that? It's holding vacuum, so eventually it'll want to draw through into the cup. I'm going to go ahead and push the brake pedal a couple times. We might, you guys watch the gauge. The proportioning valve might be over center if it's drawn up and not moving, which it could be seized. I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and push the brake pedal and see what happens. I got the right front bleeder open as well, so it should push air both places. The pedal's going to the floor. Oh, now it's starting to do something. I don't know what it's doing. It's doing something. What'd the gauge do? Oh, we got fluid back here already. Do we? Yeah, it looks like we got fluid. We do have fluid. If this thing would hang. Come here. This thing's a nightmare because it wants to get upside down all the time. Well, after another hour or so of monkeying around bleeding, I'm almost confident, 99.8% confident I got brakes. So confident I put the wheels back on. I greased the ball joints and the tie rod ends, and they're holding a little bit of pressure. You can hear the calipers dragging. I had a good pedal. Both master cylinders bores are staying up. I don't see any leaks anywhere. I bled the rear line back here, and I had it shooting down into a plastic drum, or a plastic pan, and it blew a whole bunch of fluid. Then I hooked the vacuum bleeder on it and blew some into that, and I just turned it around. So there might be a little air stuck in that because it's a loop and it's going to be impossible to bleed, but it'll just be a little spongy. The pedal's really firm, and I pushed it on with a board, and I held it so I could bleed the bleeders, you know, kind of like you're bleeding it yourself. And the brakes are holding, so the pedal feels good. It's super, super hard. Pushing on it are super firm. It's hard to tell with a vacuum booster car without it running if the brakes are good, but I don't see any leaks. All the lines appear to be holding. Well, the only original line now is just crossing the firewall there. That appears to be holding. Every other single line's been replaced now. with the Nicorp line, and new fittings except for one or two, and everything's good. We got the line all secured down the rocker panel, bam, all the way down, a bunch of P-clamps, and they're a little bit big, so I took a hammer and just peened the clamps over just a little bit to help just squeeze the line a little bit so it didn't rattle around, and this copper line, I'm afraid of it rattling, fatiguing. So I think those are good, and I've got it all set here. I went and I bent it a little bit nicer around the frame. It's locked in here good, and I added one more clamp here so it's all zip screwed around. So I think we're good there. Like I said, once I swap the rear end, I'll make the other lines, but this will give me front brakes at least, and this will act as the rear brakes working. So it'll give me enough to lot drive the car. So this video took me multiple days of monkeying around. It was way more work. I can't show the entire thing in there. This isn't like a how-to video how to put brakes on your Dodge Diplomat, but it's just me working on this car. I couldn't show every single step because the video would be 17 hours long. I'm not like Morsky. I can't make 3-hour videos for you guys to watch. Nobody watches what I make now. So it is what it is, but you can see I got all the new lines put on. So we got new hoses, calipers, pads, rotors, packed the bearings, all new lines except for the one, new fittings, and then we'll deal with that when we get done. The next video is going to be fuel system. I have a fuel tank. We're going to do the same thing as the brake lines. We're going to demo out all the fuel lines, but unfortunately because of how they are, I can't get to the ones here up under the hood. They're real hard to get at, but the fuel line goes through like a frame rail cover, and it looks like it's in good shape. So I'm going to leave the original line. There's actually rubber connections here under the floor, which I don't know if you can see them in there. There's rubber connections wherever they are. And we're gonna cut those hoses, put new hoses on them, leave the lines under the hood, but run all new lines to the back. There's a 5/16 suction line, there's a 1/4 inch return line, and then there's like a 3/16 vapor line that comes all the way up here to the vapor canister. This is actually it right here. So I don't know if I got enough 3/16 line left to make the vapor line, but I definitely have 5/16 and 1/4 to make the fuel line so we can get it running. Yeah, I might have just enough to get where we got to go. So I have a new fuel tank. I got a grommet coming for the filler neck, and then I have a new sending unit, and I have new straps. So tomorrow I'll start another video where I'll drop the tank. We got to just get this thing out of here so I can get back to normal schedule. I just wanted to get it in here to get it lot driving, like I said, because right now it's dead in the water, and I got to push it around with the tractor everywhere. And whenever you do that, you run the risk of it getting away from you, hitting something, or you hit it, mess it up with the tractor. So I know it fired when I got it out of the barn. It fired like immediately on some gas in the carburetor, so it'll run. I just need to get a new fuel system working and go from there. I'm not going to try to get that original tank going. The new tank was only $100, and the sending unit was like $40. And I got like less than $200 in a complete new fuel system by the time I get done. It's like, it's not worth messing with the old fuel system. So I'll put a new fuel system in it all the way back, and we'll be on to the next one. We'll just get it running and get out of the shop, and then we'll be back on to a couple little things, and then the C10's coming back in here. Get the transmission ready to go, hook it to the engine here under the cover, and we'll start working on C10, because spring's here now. I want to get that thing running and driving, so got to get off the side quest and get it back on the main quest and get that thing done for summertime. So thanks for watching. Got brakes on the Dodge Diplomat police car. You need them when you're chasing the bad guys. And we'll see you running and driving, hopefully next video, here at the Quick Speed Shop.